Let me tell you something. Most people don't fail because they're not good enough. They fail because they care too much about the wrong things. Let me tell you something. Most people walk through life carrying weight they were never meant to carry. They wake up every morning thinking about how to impress people who don't even notice them, stressing over opinions that won't matter in a week, and worrying about things that hold no real value in the grand scheme of life. They trap themselves in a cycle of pressure, expectations, and self-doubt, all because they care too much about things that were never theirs to control in the first place. Now imagine this. What if you just let go? What if you stopped waking up with the need to prove yourself to everyone? What if you stopped worrying about how others see you and started focusing on how you see yourself? That shift changes everything. It frees you. It gives you power. Because the truth is, when you stop caring about the unnecessary pressure that life tries to put on you, you don't lose control, you gain it. Think about a tightrope walker. If they overthink every single step, if they let the fear of falling consume them, they'll hesitate, they'll shake, and eventually they'll fall. But when they trust themselves, when they let go of the fear, they move with ease. That's how life works. When you carry too much pressure, pressure to be perfect, pressure to be accepted, pressure to meet unrealistic expectations, you freeze, you lose your natural rhythm. But the moment you release that pressure, you start moving freely. The problem isn't that people don't have the ability to succeed. The problem is that they're too weighed down by things that don't matter. Fear of judgment, fear of rejection, fear of not being enough. Let me tell you right now, those fears will never disappear on their own. You have to make the decision to stop giving them power. The day you stop caring about what people think, the day you stop letting doubt control your steps, that's the day you take your first real step toward greatness. You see, society has trained people to believe they need to live a certain way, that they need to meet certain standards, look a certain way, act a certain way, follow a certain path. And if they don't, they're failing. That's a lie. The only real failure is living a life that isn't yours. The only real mistake is spending years of your life worrying about things that add no value to you. Look at some of the most successful people in the world. They didn't get there by following the rules set by others. They got there because they broke free from expectations. They stopped caring about pleasing everyone, and they focused on doing what they were meant to do. That's the difference. That's what sets apart the ones who truly make it from the ones who stay stuck. Think about it. How many times have you held back from doing something just because you were afraid of what people might say? How many dreams have you put on hold because you thought, what if I fail? What if they laugh? What if I'm not good enough? But let me ask you this. What if you succeed? What if you're more than enough? What if the only thing standing between you and your purpose is this unnecessary pressure you've been putting on yourself? The truth is, most people don't judge you as much as you think. They're too busy worrying about their own lives, their own struggles, their own fears. So why waste your energy trying to fit into a version of yourself that wasn't meant for you? Why let their opinions dictate your choices? When you stop caring about the pressure to be perfect, you give yourself permission to be real. And being real is what attracts success, respect, and true happiness. Because when you're authentic, you don't need to chase anything. What's meant for you naturally comes your way. The ones who let go of unnecessary pressure move differently. They walk with confidence, not because they have everything figured out, but because they trust themselves. They take risks, not because they're fearless, but because they refuse to be controlled by fear. And most importantly, they understand that life is not about meeting unrealistic expectations. It's about creating your own path and walking it unapologetically. So let go. Stop carrying burdens that don't belong to you. Stop worrying about things that won't matter 5 years from now. The moment you stop caring about the pressure to be something you're not, you'll realize you are always enough exactly as you are. Most people go through life carrying unnecessary weight, worrying about things that add no real value to their journey. They stress over what others think, obsess over small failures, and waste energy on things that don't truly matter. But when you stop caring about the distractions, when you shift your focus to what actually moves you forward, everything begins to change. Imagine you're driving a car, but instead of looking ahead, you keep checking the rearview mirror, worried about who's behind you, what happens? You start swerving, you lose control, and eventually you crash. Life works the same way. If you keep focusing on things that don't push you forward, you slow yourself down. You make decisions based on fear, not faith. And that's how people stay stuck. The moment you stop caring about opinions, drama, and distractions, you free up mental space for things that actually serve your purpose. Think about the energy you waste worrying about people who wouldn't even help you if you needed them. The late nights overthinking things that won't even matter 5 years from now. The constant fear of being judged. Now imagine using all that energy to build something meaningful, to sharpen your skills, to learn, to grow. That's the difference between people who stay in the same place and those who move forward. Success isn't about being the smartest, the most talented, or even the most connected. It's about focus. It's about taking your energy and putting it into the right things. The people who achieve the most in life aren't the ones who never face struggles. They're the ones who don't let those struggles distract them. Every great person who's ever accomplished something had moments where they had to block out the noise. They had to ignore the doubts, the criticism, the outside pressures, and just focus on what truly mattered to them. The artist who tunes out the world to create, the athlete who blocks out the doubters and puts in the work, the entrepreneur who stops worrying about failing and just starts. They all have one thing in common. They stop caring about the things that don't move them forward. But this isn't just about success. It's about peace. It's about walking through life without unnecessary stress. Because when you stop worrying about things you can't control, you feel lighter. You move with confidence. You stop overthinking every little decision and instead you trust yourself. There's power in realizing that you don't have to react to everything. You don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. You don't have to prove yourself to everyone. When you stop engaging with negativity, it loses its hold on you. When you stop worrying about being perfect, you give yourself permission to grow. And when you stop needing validation, you become unstoppable. The truth is, most of the things you're worried about right now won't even matter in the long run. 5 years from now, you won't remember half the things that stressed you out today. So why give them power over your present? Instead, ask yourself, what really matters? What will actually make a difference in my life? What deserves my time, my energy, my focus? You see, the moment you shift your focus, your life shifts with it. You start attracting the right people. You start seeing opportunities you never noticed before. You start feeling lighter, more in control. And the best part? Everything you were chasing, the success, the confidence, the peace, it all starts coming to you naturally. Because when you stop caring about the things that hold you back, you make room for the things that move you forward. Being yourself is the most powerful thing you can do in this world. Yet so many people spend their lives hiding behind masks, trying to fit into spaces that were never meant for them. They mold themselves into what society expects, what their family prefers, what their friends approve of. They shrink, they bend, they compromise, until one day they wake up and don't even recognize the person in the mirror. But here's the truth. The moment you stop caring about being what others want you to be, that's the moment life truly begins. When you embrace who you are, flaws, strengths, quirks, and all, you attract the right opportunities, the right people, the right path. Think about it. The people who leave a mark on this world are never the ones who play it safe. They are never the ones who spend their lives trying to blend in. No, they are the ones who stand firm in their truth, who refuse to water themselves down just to make others comfortable. Authenticity is power. When you are truly yourself, you no longer have to force things to happen. You no longer have to chase approval. Instead, things start to align naturally. The right doors open, the right relationships flourish, the right opportunities find you. Why? Because people gravitate toward those who are real. They respect those who stand strong in their identity. But let's be honest, being yourself is not always easy. The world will test you. People will criticize you. Some will misunderstand you. Some will even walk away. And that's fine. Because the people who can't handle the real you were never meant to be in your life anyway. Too many people waste their energy trying to keep the wrong people around. They dim their light so others don't feel uncomfortable. They silence their voice so they don't offend. But what happens when you live like that? You lose yourself. And nothing is worth that price. Now here's the game changer. The moment you stop apologizing for who you are, the moment you stop adjusting yourself to fit other people's expectations, something amazing happens. You become free from the weight of pretending, free from the stress of trying to be perfect, free to live the life that was meant for you. You see, when you try to be what others expect, you may gain temporary approval, but you lose long-term fulfillment. The job that doesn't align with your passions, it drains you. The relationship where you can't be yourself, it suffocates you. The friendships built on pretense, they crumble. But when you choose authenticity, when you refuse to wear a mask, life responds in the most incredible way. Your passions align with your purpose. You meet people who value the real you. You walk into rooms and no longer feel the need to impress because you already know your worth. Success, it follows authenticity. Happiness, it comes when you no longer feel like you're living a lie. Fulfillment, it's the reward for having the courage to be exactly who you are. So stop seeking validation. Stop changing yourself for acceptance. The right people, the right moments, and the right opportunities will come. Not because you forced them, but because you finally gave yourself permission to be real. Silencing the noise is one of the most powerful things you can do in life. The world is loud, full of opinions, judgments, expectations, and distractions that pull you in every direction. Every day, you're bombarded with voices telling you what you should do, how you should act, who you should be. Social media, friends, family, co-workers, strangers, everyone has something to say. And if you let that noise control you, you'll never hear the one voice that truly matters, your own. Think about it. From the moment you wake up, there's noise. You check your phone and suddenly you're comparing your life to someone else's highlight reel. You walk into a room and you start worrying about what people think of you. You take a step toward your dream and then someone's doubt creeps into your mind. What if I fail? What if they laugh? What if I'm not good enough? That noise, it's a distraction. It's pulling you away from your path, away from your purpose. But here's the truth. Success doesn't come from listening to the noise. It comes from learning how to tune it out. The people who achieve greatness aren't the ones who try to please everyone. They aren't the ones who waste time arguing with critics or seeking approval. They are the ones who learn to block out the distractions and lock in on their mission. They move with clarity because they've trained themselves to hear only what matters. You see, the problem with noise is that it creates doubt, and doubt is the killer of dreams. The moment you let the outside world dictate your actions, you lose control of your own story. You start making decisions based on fear instead of faith. You start hesitating instead of taking bold action. You start second-guessing yourself, and before you know it, you're stuck, trapped in a cycle of overthinking and self-doubt. But the ones who break free, they do something different. They stop listening to the noise and they start listening to themselves. To do that, you have to get comfortable being misunderstood. You have to accept that not everyone is going to agree with you, and that's okay. You're not here to please everyone. You're not here to fit into someone else's mold. You're here to be you. And when you start walking in your truth, when you start making decisions based on your own intuition instead of external pressure, that's when real growth happens. That's when doors start opening. Look at history. The people who changed the world didn't do it by following the crowd. They didn't do it by worrying about what people would say. They did it because they believed in something so deeply that they refused to be distracted. They tuned out the noise, stayed focused on their vision, and pushed forward even when the world doubted them. So how do you silence the noise in your own life? You make a decision to stop seeking approval, a decision to trust yourself, a decision to put your head down, do the work, and let the results speak for themselves. You have to build a mindset so strong that no outside opinion can shake it. You have to develop the discipline to ignore the distractions and stay locked in on your goals. This doesn't mean you stop learning or growing. It doesn't mean you ignore good advice. But there's a difference between learning from the right people and being consumed by the wrong voices. You have to be selective about who and what you listen to. If someone isn't pushing you forward, they're pulling you back. If something isn't feeding your growth, it's draining your energy, and you don't have time for that. So today, take back control. Stop letting the noise of the world drown out your own instincts. Stop letting fear dictate your decisions. Stop seeking permission to go after what's already meant for you. Walk boldly in your purpose. Move with confidence, and watch how everything starts falling into place. Confidence is not about being the loudest person in the room. It's not about walking around with arrogance, trying to prove yourself to the world. True confidence is quiet, unshakable, and powerful. And do you know where it comes from? It comes from detachment. It comes from not needing anyone's approval to validate your worth. It comes from stepping into who you are without fear, without hesitation, and without begging the world to clap for you. Think about the moments in your life when you've been at your best. Not when you were the most careful, not when you were trying to impress someone, but when you were just being. When you were locked in, when you weren't overthinking, when you weren't worried about whether people liked you or not. That's when you were at your strongest. That's when you performed with ease. That's when you felt unstoppable. But too often, people tie their confidence to external validation. They feel good when others approve of them. They feel powerful when they get praise. They feel worthy when they get recognition. But what happens when those things disappear? What happens when people stop clapping? What happens when no one is there to tell you that you're doing a good job? If your confidence is tied to the opinions of others, then you're giving them the power to build you and the power to break you. That's why real confidence doesn't come from attachment. It comes from letting go. You've seen it before. Someone walks into a room and they don't say a word, but their presence speaks louder than anything. They're not desperate for attention. They're not seeking approval, but you feel their energy. That's confidence. It's not about needing to be seen. It's about knowing who you are even when no one is looking. It's about moving through life with an inner strength that doesn't shake, no matter what's happening around you. The truth is, when you stop caring about how people perceive you, you become more powerful. When you stop caring about being liked, you become more respected. When you stop looking for permission, you start walking in authority. Because confidence isn't about proving something to the world, it's about proving something to yourself. And the moment you detach from the need for approval, you free yourself. You free yourself from doubt. You free yourself from hesitation. You free yourself from playing small. Think about the people who have changed the world. They weren't concerned with fitting in. They weren't waiting for permission to be great. They weren't afraid to stand alone. They moved forward with purpose, with conviction, and with unshakable belief in themselves. That's what makes them different. That's what makes them powerful. Now, some people might say, but if I stop caring, won't I lose motivation? Won't I stop pushing myself? No. When you stop caring about external validation, you actually gain more motivation because now you're doing it for the right reasons. Now you're doing it because you believe in it, not because you need someone else to say it's good enough. You're doing it because it fuels you, not because it impresses them. Detachment doesn't mean indifference. It doesn't mean you stop caring about your work, your goals, or your purpose. It means you stop being controlled by fear. You stop being dependent on recognition. You stop being held back by doubt. And when you do that, your confidence becomes unstoppable. So let go of the need to be liked. Let go of the need for approval. Let go of the idea that you need someone else to tell you that you're worthy. You were born worthy. You were born with everything you need. Walk in that truth. Move in that power. And never, ever hand over your confidence to someone else. When you stop chasing, life flows naturally and opportunities come to you. That's a hard lesson to learn, but one of the most powerful. See, most people live their lives in a state of constant grasping, chasing success, approval, validation, and recognition. They believe the harder they push, the faster they'll get to where they want to be. But what they don't realize is that desperation repels and confidence attracts. Think about it. Have you ever met someone who was so desperate for attention that they pushed people away? The more they tried to impress, the less impressive they became. The same applies to life itself. When you cling too tightly to an outcome, when you obsess over success, You create resistance. You send a message to the world that you don't believe in your own worth, that you need something external to complete you. But the moment you stop caring, the moment you trust the process and focus on being the best version of yourself, that's when everything starts falling into place. This isn't about giving up. It's about shifting your mindset. It's about understanding that you don't have to chase every opportunity because the right ones will come to you when you're ready. The moment you stop running after things that don't serve you, the right things will find their way to you. When you're too fixated on one specific goal, one specific path, you become blind to other opportunities that might be even better. You start forcing things that aren't meant for you. You start holding on to relationships, jobs, or situations that no longer serve you simply because you're afraid of losing them. But when you release that fear, when you trust that what's meant for you will come, life starts unfolding in ways you never expected. Think of a clenched fist. When you grip something too tightly, you feel tension, stress, and exhaustion. But when you open your hand, when you relax, everything changes. The same goes for life. You have to loosen your grip, let things flow naturally. That doesn't mean you don't work hard. That doesn't mean you sit back and wait for success to knock on your door. No, it means you do the work, but you don't obsess over the outcome. You give your best, and then you trust that the right results will come. How many times in your life have you looked back and realized that what you once wanted so badly wasn't actually what was best for you? Maybe you were chasing a job you thought would make you happy, but when you didn't get it, something even better came along. Maybe you were forcing a relationship that wasn't right for you, only to later realize that losing it was the best thing that ever happened. This is proof that when you stop trying to control every little detail, when you stop fearing the unknown, things start working in your favor. The truth is, life rewards those who trust the journey. The people who seem to have everything together, who seem to attract success effortlessly, aren't necessarily the smartest or the most talented. They are the ones who know how to let go. They have an unshakable belief that what's meant for them will come. And because of that, they move differently. They don't rush. They don't force. They don't waste their energy on things that don't matter. And as a result, life flows for them. Have you ever noticed that the best ideas come when you're not trying so hard? That inspiration strikes when you're relaxed. That the right opportunities show up when you're focused on growth instead of desperation? That's not a coincidence. That's the power of letting go. When you stop needing things to happen a certain way, you open yourself up to something greater. So stop chasing, stop overthinking, stop gripping onto things that aren't meant for you. Instead, focus on becoming the kind of person who attracts the life you want. Build yourself, grow your skills, strengthen your mindset, and trust that as long as you keep moving forward, the right opportunities, the right people, and the right success will come to you exactly when they're supposed to.